Thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate that you took the time to tell me that. I don't know if you guys know this, but content creation is kind of hard. Everyone has their own opinion, and a lot of those opinions aren't very nice. I've been trying this for a while now, and it still feels very new, very fresh. And so, thank you. Comments like this go a long way to help me continue to enjoy it. I know that this took time for you, you didn't have to do it, but you still took the time to do it. And that means everything. So, thank you. I really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Dr. David Jorgensen. I'm a professor, I'm a career strategist, and like you, I'm a millennial who's had world-ending event after world-ending event, and so I've gotten pretty good at finding a job during hard times. My goal in all of this is simply to help you. And yeah, I'd like to make some money along the way because it's nice to eat too. I genuinely believe that the world of work is changing. We're all going to need to adapt. I've heard some really interesting takes on this. The idea of fractional work, the idea of everyone being an independent contractor. My take on the whole thing is that everyone needs to work on their own side hustle because there aren't enough jobs now for the number of job seekers, according to some data sources. Obviously, AI is screwing things up. The hiring process is harder than it used to be in many, many ways. Or at least that's what most people think. My own take on it is that genuinely it's different. Just like millennials had a different job search than Gen Xers had a different job search than baby boomers. Every generation has had to go through their own unique thing. Gen Z is no different. They're having to contend with AI at the very beginning of their career. For millennials, it was, okay, we're about to go get started. We're going to go to college and now we're going to get our return, right? We believed in that promise. And then it didn't work out. And it didn't work out again and again and again and again and again. It's a hard job market. It really genuinely is, but it's been a hard job market before. So I do think that there's a way through that. I really do. I don't think that we're going to be doomed. I don't think that everything's cooked. I don't think that we're in an impossible situation here. I really don't. What I do believe, truly, fully believe, is that work is going to be different. So for at least the next year, the job market is going to be figuring out what candidate AI looks like and what employer AI looks like. Those two systems aren't talking to one another very well at the moment, and we need to figure that out. And so we're in this really weird purgatory where candidates are told, don't use AI, but companies are obviously using AI. We're told optimize for the ATS, which my take on it is that optimizing for the ATS is complete BS. So yes, I have a beat the ATS guide, but it's not like anything else out there. And it's free if you want to go get it. I need to update it, to be honest, because it's not up to my standard of what I want. Not like my other guides are, not like my paid stuff is. But I've let this one kind of languish for a while because it's free. I think it's 5 pages. Maybe I bumped it up to 9. I honestly don't remember. I apologize. It's been a while. But I am going to update that soon. And I do think that AI has a role. But if you're trying to optimize for the ATS, you're probably going to lose. So my Beat the ATS guide that you can go get for the low, low price of your email that I'm going to use to send you tips a couple times a week that actually reach you, because not all my social media tips do. So that's the purpose of the whole thing. It's to give you some helpful emails, and yeah, it's nice to go track the analytics because I'm a data nerd. I like to see who opens up my emails and try and fine tune how I can better market, but I'm not out there trying to manipulate people. I just want to give you guys good stuff. Genuinely, I do. And I've struggled so much with pricing. Like, I recognize that it's hard to justify spending anything on products. I get that. But I'm also putting hours, days, in some cases, into these guides where you're not paying for some chat GPT advice. You're paying for my mind, my experience, decades of learning about people. I love this old metaphor where there's a repairman, and it differs based on telling, but this repairman goes and does a repair and sends a bill for, say, $10,000. And infuriated, this customer asks for an itemized receipt because it didn't seem like the repairman was there very long. Didn't seem like it was worth that much money. And this was like an industrial scale thing, you know, the kind of thing where if you don't fix it, people don't make it out of that area, if you catch my drift. And so it had to be fixed, but still for $10,000, it seemed unreasonable. And so the customer asked for an itemized receipt, and the repairman came back and diligently gave the itemized receipt. And it was something like rivet, $1. Tapping on rivet, $5. And at this point, the customer's like, ooh, I've got him, I'm gonna get so much money back. And then saw the last line, which was knowing where to tap, $9,994. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the decades of experience and knowing where to tap in your job search, your career, your leadership, your career pivot, whatever you've got going on that's related to people and career, including how to be successful as a neurodivergent individual. Because I have ADHD, I get it, I have had to learn to cope with this. And for a lot of you who, like me, were diagnosed as adults because you had some other things that got in the way, you weren't the typical trying to run up the wall child, you were relatively quiet, and instead everything manifested inside your own head, but you procrastinated, you couldn't finish anything, even things you were interested in, you couldn't seem to retain any information, and despite your intelligence, your brain seemed to pause and not remember certain things because your working memory was impaired. I get all that. And as a late diagnosis, you didn't have systems set up for you when you were young. Instead, you just had to learn to cope. You didn't have adults necessarily who were watching out for you and telling you how to do things. A lot of it you just had to figure out. And that probably worked for a really long time until you got to a point where your career was so busy or other facets of life were so busy. Maybe you had some kids, maybe you got married, whatever it was, but everything started to pile up. And so it started to become impossible to manage it all. And it became overwhelming. And at that point, you started to ask, maybe something's wrong with me. And you went to go get a neuropsych eval. The results came back, hey, you actually have ADHD. And you're like, oh, okay, that explains a lot. Or the autism spectrum. You're like, oh, that's why I don't like scratchy clothing, or why a chalkboard makes me want to get up and run out of the room screaming and crawl into the fetal position and rock back and forth until everything's okay again. Yeah, that makes sense. So I also do that because it's something that I'm interested in, dare I say passionate about. I love helping people who are neurodivergent, especially those who are recently diagnosed, figure out how to work all of this life, career, etc., and make it fit together and make sense. So whatever's going on with you, I would love to help. And again, genuinely, thank you for your comment. I take that as the highest compliment. I'm going to go to bed here in a bit, and I'm going to be beaming and I think have some great dreams just as a result of your compliment. Wake up feeling fantastic, ready for a good day tomorrow. Thank you.